Hello everybody and welcome back to Blue Jay Acres. My name is Noelle. Thank you so much for stopping by and joining me today in the kitchen. So let's see, a quick update on what's going on real quick. I actually am putting my business on hold for a little while. I talked to my customers because business was slowing down a little bit because of summer. Still a lot of business, but definitely slowing down where it is really booming in the fall and the winter. So we are going to take the rest of the summer off of the business and we are going to focus on remodeling the kitchen. So I want to make sure that I'm sharing that with you guys. You guys, if you have been with me for a while, remember we bought cabinets and all of that. The only thing we have left to do is get our countertops. And so we are going to do that this summer and I want to share that with you guys. So I'm also going to take this time to do some cooking with you guys. And hopefully I will have figured out how to juggle everything between YouTube and the business by the time I start back up in the fall. So thank you guys so much for being patient with me as I'm just trying to figure out how to juggle everything. We definitely bit off more than we could chew this last year, or this last few months, this summer for sure. We do a lot of butchering classes on the weekends and it's been a lot. Our gardens actually have not gone in either. We've gotten very little. A lot of that had to do with weather, some to do with the busy factor because my husband does work a full-time job as well. So we're just gonna kind of take this time to reset, to do things that need to get done around the house and around the property. The other thing that really needs to be done is my freezers need to be gone through. They are packed and my pantries are packed and I need to make room for all the different meats that we have coming in the fall from our farm. So I really need to go through that, and I know some of you might be thinking, then why would you quit doing dinners? Just do dinner and you'll be good to use up all of that. But I have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, so I would have to buy more to do dinners instead of just go through and use this up. So we're going to be doing a lot of cooking from scratch. I'm also going to be doing a pantry challenge during this time because I need to use everything that I possibly can right now. So I will not be going back to the store until October, so I will not have shopping hauls for you guys. I do have one last Azure haul that I'm picking up. It just was a couple basic things. But yeah, I'm going to just be getting creative in the kitchen, using what I have, trying to get through everything. My family is small right now. Kate and Theo left with Ash to Virginia, where her and her husband are, where her husband's stationed. So Kate and Theo went with them. And then there is, basically it's me, Luke, Brooke, and Ronnie, and Charles here. Doesn't sound small to some of you, but to me that's a very small household. So hopefully I can get through quite a bit of this food. We'll see what happens. So last night I made a chicken. We're going through a lot of chicken right now because we have tons of chicken coming in. So I roasted a chicken. So tonight I'm going to turn that into chicken and gravy over biscuits. It's something that I do sell in my dinners and it's a huge hit. So I'm going to share with you guys how I make it. Also during this pantry challenge you're going to see some store-bought stuff because I do have stuff that I need to use up that I definitely had bought to try and make some meals easier and stuff like that as we were doing the business. But the goal in the future is to really be back to no grocery store like I was for a while, and just be doing Azure and my brain is froze for a minute, and local markets like farmers markets. So during this challenge though, I will be still getting my milk. I get milk every week from the local farm down the road. I pay once a month for that. So I will continue to have that. As far as fresh produce goes, if there's something really good at one of the farmers markets that I need to get, since we did not grow a lot of produce this year, then I will pick that up so that I can process and can if need be, or if I'm able to process and can and get stuff stored up for next year. The goal is then in October I will do a huge haul, a huge shopping adventure, because I don't want to go to the store in the winter. I do not enjoy winter shopping. And so I will do a huge stock up in October and hopefully not go back to a store again until January. So that being said, I'm going to go on and make this. We're going to make chicken and biscuits over gravy. So let's start with some biscuits. Okay, so before we start, one other thing I want to tell you real quick is that my house is full of flies. So please bear with me with the flies. We have fly traps set at both doors. It is just part of living on a farm, and so we have flies everywhere right now. So I'm trying to get rid of them. If you guys have great ideas, share them with me, especially if you also live on a farm and you know how bad they are. Share it with me. All right, Brooke's gonna get her coffee. I'm gonna mop this floor and we're gonna start these biscuits. All right, so my basic biscuit recipe comes from this cookbook. It's the 1950s, Better Homes and Garden. I share this cookbook all the time because this is my go-to for the basic staples. Your basic breads, your basic rolls, biscuits, pie crusts, anything. It's just, if you want your food to taste like grandma's, then this is your cookbook right here. I know many of you have already bought it. We're going to be making just the basic biscuits out of here. So I'm going to share with you how I make it. And then the trick is how you roll it to get the good flaky layers in it. So let's start these biscuits. Okay, so here I'm going to start with 2 cups of flour. This is just all-purpose flour. I get mine from Azure Standard. It's a very good high quality, and it's pure wheat. It doesn't have all the additives. It's just strictly wheat. But any all-purpose flour would work good. If you're using a self-rising flour, you can completely use the self-rising flour. You're going to omit adding baking powder. It just makes it easier on you. You don't have to add this if you don't want to. I'm going to add it because I don't have self-rising flour here. So very few ingredients actually go into just your basic biscuits. I'm going to do a tablespoon of baking powder. It says to do about 3 teaspoons. It's roughly about the same. Then we're going to do a ½ teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to sift all this together. I use Redmond real salt. You can use whatever kind of salt you want. I do think that sifting does make a good fluffy biscuit, so I do think that you should sift if you can. And we are actually all quite hungry today. Charles should be home from work soon, so this works out perfect. Okay, next I'm going to cut in butter. Now it says to use shortening. If I had some lard, I am out of lard at this moment, but come the fall I'll have all kind of lard. If I had lard, I would do half lard, half butter, but I don't. Some people grate their butter in here and everything else. I do not. I just put it in. And this, I also just kind of measure with my heart. I don't, you know, do the recommended, I guess, amount, which is 3 to 4 tablespoons is what it calls for. That's not what I'm doing. I don't know. I just kind of, like I said, I just kind of measure it with my heart. And then I like to get in with my hands. If you have a pastry cutter, you want to use that, you can do that. You can get in there and cut it up. I just find your hands, it works better. I don't freeze my butter. I don't grate my butter. I find all of that to be kind of unnecessary. So I don't do that. But you don't want to break all your butter up. You want to leave some chunks of butter in here so that when you roll it out, you have some good butter chunks in here. Now all I did for the chicken last night is I just roasted a chicken, a whole chicken, and I stuffed it with some oranges and some different spices and onion and garlic and just a very basic, just baked chicken. So I will pull some of that off the bones. And then I'll use that when we make our gravy. And then I think for dessert tonight, we have a bunch of peaches and nectarines that need used up. So I think I'm gonna make a peach cobbler. I think I'm gonna do a peach cobbler and some homemade ice cream to go with it. Okay, now that's pretty good and broke in there. So the next thing is milk. We're gonna add our milk in. It says about 2/3 to 3/4 cup of milk. I just add milk in. If you get too much, you can always add more flour. I just kind of mix it up again with my hands. Biscuits are a very hands-on kind of thing. And that's pretty perfect right there. Yep. And if you're new, I'm a very messy cook. That has not changed. Okay, so now I've got this beautiful biscuit dough here, and I don't want to really overwork it at all. So I'm going to set this aside so we can get stuff to roll it out. If you have a cast iron skillet, it's a great time to use it. Mine is out in the garage and I don't feel like cleaning it right now. So I'm going to put my oven at 425. And I'm gonna just melt some butter in the bottom of this pan or dish. It's gonna help make it extra buttery. Can't have too much butter in biscuits. So I'm gonna put that in when my oven is preheating. This milk is the fresh farm milk. You see there's no label or anything. They just give it to us. They seal it in their own jugs. And then I normally pour it into half-gallon jugs myself so I can separate the cream and the milk. However, 1 gallon I just leave like this because I use it just for my coffee and stuff like that, and I like it to have the cream in it. I don't separate it. My dog is whining because kids went out front. Okay, now I just have a cutting board here. That's gonna work fine. I'm gonna just put this on. It's probably a bit much. Just don't want it to be dry. So now I gotta get back used to cooking for a smaller amount of people because I'm used to cooking for 20 to 50 a night. But this is kind of a nice break. Make one batch of stuff instead of, you know, 3 or 4, 5, 6, whatever's needed. All right, now I'm just gonna kind of mush this together a little bit. Okay, so that we can roll it. Then I'm gonna roll it into basically a rectangle. I'm gonna fold it, turn it. This is where you're getting your layers. Roll it again. They're out front with the cats, so that's why you hear the dog crying, because he wants to go outside with the cats too, but the cats don't like him to come outside with them. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. That's it. Now I'm gonna roll it out so that I can cut it with my cutter. Okay, and I can't find my canning stuff or my biscuit cutters, Charles. Try not to turn it. I'm trying to get it down there. He rearranged my pantry for me. So there is a biscuit. Let me see something else. And actually, I think I'm going to just use this cup because I can go down without twisting better. Okay, so there's 6. Remember, I really only have 3 people eating. I will taste for you guys, but I can't really do bread anymore. Breads, I don't do much of it anyway. So for us, this is enough. You might want to do a larger batch. You might want to do a larger batch than obviously if you have a larger family or feeding more people.
It up to them.
Thank you. Okay, so here is how many I got then. I got 4, 8, 9, and a partial, a little tiny one. That's probably the one I'll use to taste for you guys. All right, then we're gonna just wait on this butter, and then we're gonna pop this in over here into the oven. Now you can also make a big batch of these, which would be great. And I probably should make a double batch. I just don't really feel like it right now. But then you could have leftovers in the morning and have, you know, biscuits or whatever in the morning. But I'm not doing that. I'm not batch cooking right now. I'm kind of enjoying the not making large quantities of stuff and the small quantities. So, yeah, that's why I'm just making this few. All right, let's check on this butter. Okay, I'm gonna go on and pop these in the oven. And I'll see you in just a few minutes. Okay, time to pull out these beautiful biscuits. They look gorgeous. And then I'm just gonna top them with melted butter here. Again, I don't feel like you can ever have too much butter on your biscuits. If you wanted to add some honey to this butter, that'd be good too. A honey butter, not mustard, biscuit would be delicious. All right. Pour the rest of that on there. Love the butter. Okay, now we're gonna let this sit aside, and then we're gonna make our gravy to go with our biscuits and gravy, or chicken biscuits and gravy. Set that over here. We're gonna turn this pan on high right here, this front burner. And melt butter. Okay, that's starting to brown. I'm going to turn that heat down a little bit. I need to remove that. I was looking for my spices that I need. Okay, so I apologize. I cannot find my dried rosemary that I dried last year from our garden, or my thyme. I can find all the other spices, but not those, which means I put them somewhere, I'm sure. Last time I used them when I made chicken biscuits and gravy or chicken and dumplings. So I won't have that, but if you have that, add that. I'm gonna put this back on the heat. It's okay, the butter is just brown now. To this, I would add my dried spices. It will help cook it and release some of the flavor, but I'm just gonna do some poultry seasoning right now. Some black pepper. Some sage, some minced garlic, and I'm just going to cook all this for just a minute before we add some flour and get this ready to thicken up. I already smell like good sage. I'm going to add some flour to this. Just get that going and browned up. I want to cook it for just a little bit just to get the flour paste out of it. While that's going, I'm going to get me some water together. To this cup of water here, I'm going to add a little bit of chicken bouillon. If I had bone broth right now, I would use bone broth, but I don't have any right now. I'm going to add that here to my pan. And get that all going. And then I'm going to grab my milk. I'm going to start adding the milk. I know some of you don't like the sound of that. But I don't know how to do it without making a sound unless I get plastic or silicone. And I'm just like the one I have. We're gonna let that cook for just a minute. And then I have this tiny little can of peas and carrots that I'm gonna end up throwing in here. But I wanna go on and give my gravy a little taste. It's pretty strong. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. I've been a little heavy-handed with the bouillon. Like I said, I used to cook them for a bigger crowd. All right, and then I'm gonna add my peas and carrots here. I also have all this chicken that I shredded. I'm gonna add that in there. Or just kind of pulled off. You would do the same thing if you were making a pot pie. You can easily turn this into the pot pie. This is a great way to stretch chicken if you're on a budget. Of course, I'm going to throw in some budget tips here. This is also a very inexpensive meal. If you don't have all the spices, you could just get a packet of gravy mix, like a chicken gravy mix, and you could add that and just kind of make the gravy like that. Throw in that little can of peas and carrots, some chicken that you're stretching out, because one chicken you can easily, for a family of 4, turn that into 3 meals just from one store-bought chicken or a rotisserie chicken. I don't really prefer rotisserie chicken. I prefer store-bought, well, homegrown. Next to that would be store-bought. And you could turn this into a pot pie though. Say make pie crust. If you don't want to make biscuits, turn it into pot pie. Throw maybe some leftover potatoes or sweet potatoes or something like that that you got going on too. Let's see, you could also skip the milk and make it cheaper and just add water. Just make the whole thing with water. You can definitely do that. But yeah, this is overall, it is a very inexpensive dinner. And it's just a wonderful comfort food. This is one of my favorite fall and winter kind of dishes. Now if this doesn't thicken up, because I needed to add more water because I got it a little bit too strong with the bouillon, all you need to do is add a little cornstarch slurry and you'll be good to go again. And we're probably going to have to do that. Get it a little thin, just add cornstarch to some water, stir it up. I'm going to do it this way so you don't get lumps in your gravy. Something about all the sage, it always just tastes like, to me, tastes like Thanksgiving. It's just so good. Okay, we're going to just thicken this up a little bit more. That should do it. Let that cook for just a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to just turn the heat off. I'm going to remove this from the heat and just let this cool off a little bit. and it'll thicken up some as it cools off even more, and this should be perfect. And then let's look at these biscuits. So if you can see all the beautiful layers in these biscuits, pull them apart, look at that. So good, so buttery, perfect biscuits every time. All right, let's just plate it up. We're gonna eat this with, I just put the biscuit in two. We're gonna eat it with a salad. And then a little later tonight, I'll make the ice cream. There you have it, delicious chicken and gravy and biscuits. A little later tonight, I will make the cobbler and ice cream. So I might wrap this up here and share that one with you guys tomorrow. But first, I'm gonna do a taste test with you guys. Charles is not home from work yet, so there. It's hot. So good. You could also put this over rice. That'd be really good too. All right, I will either wrap it up or see you guys a little bit on the side in a few minutes. Okay guys, I'm gonna wrap it up for today, and tomorrow I will share with you guys some delicious peach cobbler, homemade ice cream, and something for dinner. Don't know yet what yet. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye buddy.